minor differences when the two runners get to Mega Man 2, because I know Darko plays on Rockman 2, and I'm not sure yet what 2wogood's going to choose, but we've seen most of the runners go with Mega Man 2 normal, so we'll see if that trend continues.
Oh, when 2wogood got the 5,000 points, that's a little thing you look for. When you get to sub 18 or sub 19.
Yeah, those really tiny frame saves. Yeah. Mega Man 1, obviously the only Mega Man game that has a point system, and it's random how many points these Robot Masters actually give you. So 50 points is the least amount of points you can get, and that actually does make a tiny difference, because when you kill the boss and you get your points, the lower the points value, the faster you get out of the stage. But yeah, it's such a small time.
Yeah, I think every 10,000 points is like 10 frames. So a sixth of a second every time you wanna.
Yeah.
I believe I did that math right. I might not have.
Darko did say he's experiencing a little bit of frame drops, so that's what we're seeing a little bit of that. But hopefully that doesn't take away too much from the experience, and hopefully his internet can sort of recover maybe as this race goes on. But very close so far in the start, which is good. Cut stage is not it's not the easiest stage necessarily, but it's also not one of the most fun stages to play. There's a lot of just walking and not very many enemies in your way, and it's just about mainly grabbing ladders as optimally as you can so that you don't have to climb them. And when you take your hits, just make sure you hit that select button as fast as possible, like you saw Darko do just there.
And he's got 5 HP, I believe, so he'll be able to take one cut blade if he goes for the quicker Cutman kill. I believe the cut blade does 4 damage.
Yeah, he might actually have 4 there. It's hard to see, but I think it might only be 4. It might be 5. It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's really close.
But Cut, pretty easy fight. Darko's actually using the select button to his advantage here and just keeping the shots over top of Cut, but you saw 2wogood just keeping Cut in the corner actually makes this fight pretty easy. He just sort of shoots and pins him in the corner with his bullets.
Yeah, you just keep jumping back and forth with the cut blades, and he goes down real quick.
So we both got Cut. That's handy because it's Elec's weakness. So now the runners are going to head off to Elec to... Ideally here, we're going to see 2 runners get in and out grabbing the Magnet Beam without any problems. Basically, the way this route works is because it was discovered that you can essentially clip into the wall and grab the Magnet Beam. The runners are going to use that to their advantage by doing that and getting the beam early. If they didn't want to do any kind of glitches or anything, they would have to go to Gutsman stage first to get Guts' weapon so they could grab the blocks and take them out of the way. But since they went Cut first, we know that they're going to be doing the clip into the wall.
Oh, 2wogood gets a nice little corner jump there. Saves a little bit of time as opposed to waiting for these blocks to form.
Yeah, very nice.
Corner jump, not...
jump.
Yeah, it's when you think about it too much, at least for me, when I think about it too much and I never hit it, but if I'm just going, then there it is every time. It's one of those mental things. And
then they put those 3 little ammos in your way too, so that can be kind of a pain too, in a sense of it can throw your timing off just a little bit.
Yeah, in Mega Man 1, every time you pick up an item, your health or energy, you kind of stop for a second there.
So 2wogood, second try, gets on into the wall here. See if he can get up and grab this beam. He's having some issues. See if he can do it. Oh, there he goes. Just going to carefully grab it so that he doesn't soft lock. Darko also gets in there a little bit quicker. So that time that he lost, I think, to 2wogood on that corner jump, he looks like he's maybe gotten it back a bit with that faster Magnet Beam grab.
Yeah, he's a little... he's turning back into the wall a little early, so he was missing the height to get into there. So now that the runners have the beam, that's going to be pretty much how they're going to
go fast in a lot of these stages. You see 2wogood using it to walk over these really long platform or these open pit areas to avoid falling in. Makes it easier, and you get up to the top of the screen faster. And you'll also see them using it to zip in some of the later stages. So it's going to be pretty important throughout this first 6 robots here.
And 2wogood without any beams, so he's just going to do the safe electric climb, getting in between those beams, and it'll be a little bit slower. We'll see. Darko has the energy, so yeah, looks like he's going for it. Oh,
maybe not. Didn't feel it, I guess.
Maybe we'll see
it on the next screen.
Too high.
Nope. The little psych out, I guess. So he's just gonna also take his time. I mean, it's better to do that than fall. So.
There we go. Not a bad. Really nice electric kill. That's how you want to do it. Get him before he can shoot anything at you.
Yeah. Again, that select button. As some people might have even discovered playing the game casually, the select button is pretty useful in that you can essentially pause the game with it and hold shots inside of bosses' hitboxes. And luckily for us, the boss's invincibility frames still wear off, even with that game paused with the select button. So runners can keep shots inside of the hitbox and just wait for the invincibility frames to wear off, and then just unpause and repause again. So basically making the boss fights incredibly easy.
Yeah, you'll see that here on this Iceman fight. Both guys will be doing it real clear.
Yeah. 2wogood. Looks like he's going to try to go for this ice zip. He's not getting the beams, though. He might want to just say... Oh, he's still going for it.
Yeah.
No. So now he's probably going to have to do the 2 Yoku block screens, unfortunately.
Yeah, if he would have saved even just one beam, he would have been able to get up.
And seeing Darko doesn't even go for it, and so he's got plenty of beam to get through these screens, no problem.
Yeah, so he's going to have to save those 2 beams if he wants to get over there.
Darko didn't make it, though. And so he's gone back. He's got no beam now either, so he's going to have to do the Yokus as well.
And he's going to have to do those ice platforms. It's going to be very rough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the scary part.
He turned there like he was going to shoot a beam just to get himself up there, but then he remembered if he does that, he is stuck on these ice platforms, and that is not where you want to be.
Yeah, they are just terrible. Like, even though they are platforms...
Barely.
it's got something to do with the frame that they shoot, I think, right? Like the frame they fire their bullets, you can't stand on them. You fall straight through them.
Yeah,
so,
if you're landing when it fires, and sometimes if you're landing when you get hit by another one, you'll just fall right through.
Yeah, so even though it technically is a platform you can stand on, ooh, and this is not a very good pattern he's got going on here. He's going to have to make a scary jump. He does make it, though. And makes it to the ammo, so Darko should be okay now, but kind of an unfortunate death there, because he had the beams to get there, just couldn't quite make it. So 2wogood with this now sort of lead change here, as he's got the advantage. So 2wogood, now that he has ice, will be off to fire. This is probably one of the heaviest zipping stages in this game, so we'll see how many both him and Darko decide to go for.
It's almost like they knew that we'd be doing it. That was nice. First try to get into the
Very nice. Yeah. First one try with the beam is really good. There's an easier setup where you can go to the ladder and guarantee that you get the right pixel, but 2wogood clearly has enough practice that he knows he doesn't need to bother with that.
Man, we used to race these games every now and then, but I'm a little afraid now.
So 2wogood making his way through this stage pretty cleanly so far.
I'm gonna see here if he goes for the fire zip. I don't know. Maybe he knows he's got a safe, but We'll see.
Looks like he's setting it up. So, and Darko also got that first little zip first try as well. So very impressive. It's not too bad to set up, but you know, nothing's 100% free. So those setups are pixel perfect. The beam has to be in the exact spot, or it will not allow them to zip. But a very nice stage from 2wogood.
Just not enough there to get that zip. There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty textbook fireman stage.
So Darko is pretty low on beam. I think. He's short.
Enough, yeah.
He's short. Yeah. So he's not going to be doing the zip. He's just going to walk around here.
Yeah, about 2 beams. I think it was short.
Yeah, you want to have at least 3 because you need 2 in the first screen to set it up, and then you need at least 1 in that last screen so you can fire that really long beam. Otherwise, you'll just fall straight down and die. So, but he does get through it. You don't lose a ton of time even doing the zipless strat, but it is one of the bigger time losses because the fire zip it's actually pretty handy. You don't have to do that whole walk around sort of back and forth like you saw Darko having to do. Yeah, for Darko, I'd say Mega Man 3 is his best time. He at different times he's been second in the world, and even now he's technically third in the world, but I mean it's by 1 second, so he's very, very strong. He also is very good at Mega Man 4, very consistent. So the middle ground is where you'll see Darko shine, definitely. 2wogood, on the other hand, I think 1 and 2 are probably his strongest games from what I...
Ooh, bad death right there.
Yeah, that Bullet Bill guy came up and just barely caught him with that early jump.
And that's a terrible place to die, too, right before the checkpoints. Now he went all the way back to the beginning of the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, so Darko again back in the lead. Seeing Darko here fire this ice shot on that Sniper Joe, that's actually kind of important, because if you don't, that sniper will just chase you for the entire screen. It's actually pretty funny when you see somebody not freeze him, because it's pretty comical to watch that Sniper Joe just chase Mega Man down forever.
Yeah, you try and get away, but he's always following you.
Yeah.
There we go. He ended up letting go of his beam too high in his jump. That's why when the bird hit him, he just fell into the pit. Didn't have the magazine to fall back onto.
So really close race again. Darko trying to get the zip set up. He actually climbed too high, and 2wogood also. So, and he didn't re-grab that ladder, unfortunately. So he fell straight down onto the spikes.
He's on his last life here, so we're gonna see.
Yeah, he's got to be careful now.
Yeah.
Mega Man 1 is pretty unfair when it comes to spikes too, because even if you're in invincibility frames, the spikes will still kill you. So, did he get it this time? It looks like he got it this time. Oh no, he was too high.
Oh.
Did he? I wonder if he was. Did he accidentally jump?
He might not have. He might not have hit left on the control pad.
Yeah.
You want to be facing left when you climb up that ladder into the spikes. So maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't hit left. Yeah, that's a big loss on Bomb Man. That's pretty unfortunate. Bomb is actually one of the easier zips to set up. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the only 2 ways that you can get killed by that spike like that is by either jumping or maybe facing right. So it looks like maybe since he did it twice, we'll have to see here. He might have been using the second screen as a way to set himself up to land on the beam. Because that beam will last on the screen beforehand for a little bit. Right. So he might have been going up, and then just as soon as the screen changes, he just holds A and right or hits A and right until he lets go of the ladder.
Okay, so could be part of his setup.
Yeah, because if you don't get high enough on that ladder, you're going to fall and hit those spikes, like you saw him do the second time.
Yeah, we'll see if he does it again. Oh, he grabbed it that time perfectly, so... Alright, here we go. Oh, he got it again. So that time he was definitely facing left. But yeah, I'm not sure what if he's maybe transitioning the screen in the wrong spot. But he's just electing to say nope, not anymore.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Screen.
Meanwhile, Darko has gone all the way through Guts, and he's at his boss fight here, so he's about to finish Mega Man 1 and head off to Mega Man 2. There's the kill. He's got to grab the orb, and he gets it. So, kind of unfortunate there. Talking about his virtual console. Darko with his gifts as he changes games. Bomb is down for 2wogood here, so he's still got to go through Guts, but at least he's out of there, and he doesn't have to worry too much about any crazy zips anymore. It's just down to going through the execution of Guts' stage. The only thing I can think of is because I'm not really I wouldn't consider myself a Mega Man 1 runner. I don't have a very good time in this game, but the only thing I can think of is potentially if maybe there's a spot where if you can screen transition too late or too early, then maybe you're too high, but for sure.
He fell off his beam and fell into the pit.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he was doing it on purpose, but he fell just in the wrong location. See if he tries to set it up the same way again. This time he's going to make it all the way across, so... Again, sort of another... It's got to be kind of careful here, because, again, you'd hate to see another game over here, but hopefully he's going to be okay here.
He missed that magnet place too. I think maybe he just needs to take a deep breath and kind of get Bomb Man out of his head.
Yeah, I think he should be fine now. There's no more pits, so it should just be get to through the rest of the level here, hopefully.
Yeah, and the good thing for him, he's got Mega Man 2 next, so that one he'll be able to, get back into a groove.
Yeah.
There we go, Flashman dead over there on Darko's side.
Yeah, and Darko is playing Rockman 2, so it is the more difficult version, but he will have shorter weapon get cutscenes, so there is an advantage to going with the Japanese version of the game. Gets his Gutsman kill, he's got his orb, so off to Mega Man 2 for 2wogood.
I put in a word to White Hat, who was the second person to get a sub 19 time in Mega Man 1. So he might hit us up with the answer of why 2wogood died there. So.
So there was a section there where it looked like Darko's stream had sort of recovered, but it's sort of back into that lagginess. So hopefully again his internet will come back to us for a little more. But at least it's still working to a point where we can still see where he is, and there's no real... It's not like it's completely gone, so that's good.
Yeah.
Setting up this first zip in heat, and he gets it. Going heat second means that Darko will be going with the fast air strats in air, probably. So, again, been a kind of scary strat. We've seen some runners that are very competent in it lose quite a bit of time to a few deaths here. So, the fast air has been sort of an interesting choice for runners, and I'm kind of curious to see if even some of the ones that started with it may take it out if they just feel like it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I know 2wogood can do it, but I know for the Mega Man 2, the Get Yourself Speedrunning tournament, he was doing air second just to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even more so, again, like in this category, like, really, the amount of time that Air Third saves in a 2-hour run may not even be worthwhile unless you're very, very confident in your execution of it, so...
Yeah, and he may know he's behind a little bit, so he might say, you know, I'll just go Air second, and I'll try and make up the time in the later games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, keep it consistent.
Darko finishes off Heat. Heat is probably the worst RNG boss in Mega Man 2. Shooting him puts him into his charge pattern, and he'll charge at you after half a second, 1 second, or 1.5 seconds. And so just seeing in Rockman 2 how you have to hit him 14 times instead of 7 times, you can see how much time you can actually lose. There's a potential 14 seconds of time loss there, so...
Yeah, and there you see him in the chat. Especially after that bomb, Air second, yeah.
Well, and you saw him, he thought about it too, because he did hit over to Heat, and then it was like, nah, you know, no. let's just, you know, take the consistency. You know,
yeah, I learned fast air from him, so I know he's got it in his pocket. But yeah, it's probably just I've already lost enough time. Let's try and you know, put a bandage on it.
Yeah, definitely stop the bleeding helps. Darko, on the other hand, now into air for his third stage, so we're gonna see these fast air strats using these item 1s to get across. It's got the good start. Got sort of one more scary deboost to do right there, and it looks like he's got it. So yeah, good job by Darko getting through that room.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you notice when you're trying to do it and you're not getting it, that's the thing. On that first air guy, you gotta hit his right side of his hitbox so you get pushed to the right. That's a big thing on there of why sometimes you don't make it and you end up going off the top of the screen and falling through your item 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you can still make it if you get knocked back to the left, but it's very, very tight.
Yeah, you gotta be really close on there.
In a situation like this, oh, birds! In a situation like this, I would just almost, like if I got knocked left, I would just abort immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a little strat you can do that makes it really safe to do that, but you have to slow down for maybe 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose a little bit of time, but you before you spawn that air guy or the lightning guy on the screen, take a little hit off of one of the bugs that pops out of the horn's ears.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you'll have iframes going through the thunder guy. You don't have to worry about trying to get a good damage boost off of him.
Yeah, actually, we saw there's actually another 46 Robot Master race going on actually at this very moment, and Becca Red is in that one, and we actually saw him do that. He didn't get the D boost he wanted, and so yeah, he sort of took his time there to set up the fast air correctly. So now you see Darko here with that sort of full stage advantage now. So 2wogood again. He's got his work cut out for him, but definitely not out of it yet. There's still a lot of games to go yet.
And here you're actually going to see it pretty close on how much quicker that text screen is on the Rockman 2 version.
Yeah. Having to wait through the English version of this is pretty bad. Darko is off to Clashman in the Japanese version. And we're going to see the first sort of death warp. Going to do some crazy zip shenanigans here. And it sort of appears like Darko's walking through the terrain here, but he's actually on a different screen of Clashman stage, so that's why it sort of looks weird. And basically he's going to walk past the checkpoint and then take a death, and that death will allow him to respawn here at the checkpoint room as you see him now. So it's a little short death warp. The runners do have to be careful of their lives, because you'd hate to go for this and then realize you're on your last life. So, but as long as the runners don't take any unnecessary deaths, they should be fine.
Yeah, that's going to be 2wogood's concern. He's going to have to remember to pick up the extra life in Quickman stage. Since he lost that life in Airman, he'll be able to do Crash, but then when he goes for Goodwood, he's going to game over instead of go to the ball door.
Yeah. trying to set up this item 3 here. Looks like he's just gonna go to the bottom and try again.
Oh yeah, it looks like he was facing
Telly.
the wrong side.
Yeah, he gets the zip though, so... Darko already at the top of Clashman stage, so very nice Clash Crime. And there you see why Air Second is kind of nice. If you're playing Heat Third, you get that item 2 usage to fly right past all the Yoku blocks. So very, very safe, very, very easy.
There we go, nice double hit on the end there to take out Crash Man.
Yeah, the 2 cycle, very nice. So thankfully, with 2wogood playing on normal, this fight will be a little bit faster than Darko's. He only has to hit him 7 times instead of 14, so RNG is less of a factor, although he is... I was gonna say, he's getting some 30s here, which is really nice, but then he got a couple 90s here, so... sort of averaged out in the end.
Yeah. Alright, we see Quick here. And he's gonna grab the 1-up, yeah, just for safety.
Not a bad
idea. It's right in the front of the stage, so, or right at the beginning of the stage, so you're really not going too far out of your way. It's not like going out of your way in Metal Man to get the 1-up.
Yeah, exactly. And you're already switching typically to item 1 if you're planning to zip, so it doesn't cost you another menu, which is really critical. And Darko actually electing to not do the further zip. He's going to do the shorter zip here. We saw him do this last night as well, so he can do the B trigger instead of the A trigger.
I did not know that was there.
And then we also saw him do some shorter ones to skip the dogs actually in Woodman too. So I'll be interested to see if he does that as well when we get there. But so because he did that zip there and just sort of let the zip go, he's got to finish the rest of Quickman stage now in the dark. So the runner, he has to know exactly where these edges are so that he doesn't accidentally turn too early and get hit by a quick beam, but he does get through it. And he is setting up for the dangerous zip here, so... Oh, nope. Didn't quite get his items in the right spot. Abort mission.
Yeah, probably not a bad choice to let that zip go, especially with how far ahead he is. Oh, I see. So Zoda's saying that zip can be done like the Wily 6 in the Alien stage, where since there's walls on both sides, as long as you're facing left, it'll just automatically start triggering the zip, which is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Quick is down. Darko did miss there, but the explosion from Crash can hit Quickman multiple times, so it's a little bit slower, but he does get his kill, so... And seeing again those really fast weapon gets in the Japanese version of the game. Meanwhile, 2wogood gets to the top of Crashman's stage. It is neat to see. We've got both. We've got the Crash Climb and the Clash Crime here, so it's kind of cool to see both of them going off. He gets a 2 cycle, unfortunately. Crashman not giving him that nice high jump for the double hit. Darko tried to go for that really short half-second time save zip there, but accidentally fired his item to the right instead of left, so again, quickly changes his mind and goes without it. So yeah, here we go. Hopefully 2wogood remembers he's got to grab this 1-up. Yeah, he does. Alright, good. Yeah, very, very important to do that, like Colin was saying. Like, you don't want to forget and then start doing good wood and realize, uh-oh, I've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, bad enough on Crashman stage where the zip's right at the beginning, but that wood zip is the end. That death is at the end of wood stage, you know?
Yeah.
Item might be too... Okay, there he goes. I thought he might have had it just a little too far.
And zips all the way through, so yep, we got another dark quick beam section. Again, this menu to flash, I don't think I mentioned it when Darko did it, but it actually is necessary because the runners have to sort of screen wrap in somewhere in this section, and they have to do that. If they do that without flashing, obviously the quick beams at the top of the screen will kill them. So very important that they switch to flash there. Whew. Very close there. That one quick beam just barely missing him there, but he gets through the screen, which is very important. Here you go. You see Darko doing this zip here.
So we got both guys wiggling here. There we go. They both get it.
So very nice. Zips past all the dogs and starts his good wood. And meanwhile, 2wogood is done with quick. So it's kind of even a little harder to see what's going on. Ooh! So Darko released, or might have hit right a little too early here, so he's going to have to use this pause buffer thing. In Mega Man 2, when you pause, you reset your vertical velocity, so he was able to sort of save it, because he's got to actually get to a ladder that's not actually visible on that screen, otherwise he'll have to take a death and then try again if he had the lives. I don't know if he actually did.
Yeah, he would have been lucky just because he picked up that extra one in quick.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did grab that one, you're right.
But yeah, that was very quick thinking by him to recognize what he did and fix it. Sometimes if your reactions aren't quick enough, you're not going to be able to pause and get that ladder.
Ooh, and 2wogood gets this little zip here. Nice little half-second save. We saw Darko actually kill Wood, sorry, with air shooter. That's actually not a mistake. In difficult mode, which is what Rockman 2 is, it takes 2 full heat charges to kill Woodman. And since charging up Heat's weapon takes quite a while, it's a lot faster to just use Air's weapon, since you can use it to shoot right through Woodman's shield. So that's why you see him standing up close and just putting those shots right inside, getting double hits with the air shooter.
Here's the other thing. You might have noticed that Metal Man didn't really move for Darko either until the very but if you go into the metal fight with the B button held down, he's going to stand there run in place as long as you don't pass about the halfway part of the screen. And he'll just stand there and you can just load up the quick boomerangs right into him.
Yeah, quick being I guess, the only auto-fire weapon, I guess, in this game. So you can just hold the B button down, you don't actually have to shoot. Ooh, nice B trigger there by Darko. He missed the A trigger on the first attempt, so the B trigger gives him... It's a little risky, because if you trigger too early, you will get hit by the spikes, because you zip lower, but yeah, his timing was good there. These frogs have a lot of HP. I think it's 10 hits that they have. 10 HP, so take a lot of Buster or Metal Blade shots. I believe both do only 1 damage. And 2wogood doing the other approach for the dogs, which is flashing them, and that way they don't actually spawn in and you can just walk past. So Darko's still at a slight advantage here coming out of Mega Man 2. He gets his kill, so he's off to Mega Man 3. And like we said, arguably probably his best game in the Mega Man series. So look for some high-level play here as we see another V-Cheater gif. So there you see 2wogood going all the way to the ladder. That was sort of what Darko was hoping for initially, but had to play it safe there because he didn't get it. But 2wogood nails it and just has to take the death here and respawn at the boss corridor.
I thought he went a little short there.
It is kind of a scary zip. We haven't seen too many mistakes in that at that point, but literally just in that race that's, again, taking place at the moment over on Speedruns Live also, Casio overzipped and went to Wily 3 on accident, so that cost him a lot of time. So it's gonna be scary now. Like, seeing these runners go through it, you know, it's a pretty big window to hit, so you respawn at the checkpoint room, but, you know, you gotta still be careful and make sure that you know the spot where you want to do it. Darko's going with top first. It's the fastest of the 3 main routes of this game, but definitely the most difficult. So when he gets to Shadow Man stage after top here, you're going to see him probably go through the parachute screen a little bit riskily, because you use Top's weapon to kill the parachutes as you go through, but
I see a single really block ideal. Slides there too.
Yeah, and it's not easy because when you use top spin and you kill a weapon, an enemy with it, it actually kind of knocks you back a little bit. So he has to make his jumps actually pretty precise. So when you see him in the next stage, you'll see that. But this is a pretty good route because the top fight is exactly the same every time. There's no RNG, and he takes double damage from the Buster, 2 damage each time. So it's one of the faster boss fights.
Nice way to shoot there and shoot behind and jump forward to get on that the center of the screen.
I have heard that cool guys don't look at explosions, so. 2wogood coming into his last fight of Mega Man 2. Bubble will go down pretty quick on normal. There it is. So he'll be still about 1 stage back here of Darko, but really not that far. Ultimately, the main difference for Virtual Console, Craxus, is that Virtual Console actually doesn't have 60 frames per second. It's a little bit less than 60 frames per second. And so actually running on Virtual Console is... for at least for the Mega Man games specifically, I know is actually a disadvantage. I believe it's roughly for every 10 minutes of gameplay, you lose about 1 second to an NES runner. So not a huge deal, but if you're going for, like, let's say a record, it is actually pretty critical. Like if you actually consider that like Ohan's Mega Man 3 time that he got is only 1 second faster than Darko, and since Darko's run is on Virtual Console, it actually means that Darko's run is probably about 1 second faster, but he doesn't lose, or he doesn't have that same time since he has that lower frames per second.
Really nice job getting through that parachute section.
Yeah, those are the scary jumps for sure, and getting through it without dying is sort of like a sigh of relief for the top first runners, I think. That's a very, very terrifying room. 2wogood's going with Magnet first, a much safer race route for sure, and much more consistent. So, playing these Yokus a little risky here. You don't actually have to go down to those 2 there. You can just wait for that 3rd one to spawn, but gotta be a little careful there. But he is through this Yoku screen, thankfully.
Yeah, he did it. He caught himself pretty close on that ledge there.
It's probably dependent on maybe the emulator, like maybe how that's used. I don't have an emulator for the Wii, so I can't confirm. I know Darko does, but currently I think he's playing on the actual Virtual Console version, so I don't think that applies. But I know he does have some form of emulation on his Wii, because I've seen him practice with save states with it. So 2wogood. Getting a pretty reasonable pattern, actually. Getting a few shields. Ooh, he does kill Magnet really far into the corner, though, so he's going to have to watch this really long walk of shame.
Yeah, he should have slid to the left and slid right under those blocks so we could have landed right, or under the Magnet missile so we could have ended up in the middle there.
Yeah, Mega Man 3 is where the games start to make Mega Man get the weapon get animation, so he's going to have to try to finish his boss fights near the middle of the room if he can, so that Mega Man doesn't have to walk to the center. Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 is a little easier because you don't lose control of Mega Man on boss kill, so you have time after the boss dies to walk to the center, but in 3, you lose control of Mega Man the moment that the boss dies, so it's it's actually kind of critical. These boss fights are typically designed to try to have Mega Man finish in the middle. Yeah, we saw Darko get the zip here in Gemini. Doesn't save a ton of time, but it's pretty flashy. And he also gets through the hardest Gemini room as well. So at this point now, with Darko hitting probably it was over the Stomper. So hitting this boss door here, really the hardest part of Mega Man 3 is behind Darko. It's really all downhill from here. So, again, these guys did go two different routes, so we're not going to know really roughly how far ahead or behind they are to each other, but the routes do come together after 6 robots, so both these routes finish with Snake and Spark last. So hopefully once we see them both get through their first 6 stages, we'll have a better idea of where they are. It's going to look like Darko's got a pretty sizable lead here after he finishes Needle, because Needle is a pretty short stage. But he may not be as far ahead as it appears. We won't really know until after he finishes Hardman and 2wogood finishes Gemini, or Needle, I guess.
Yeah, Needle will be the last one on that one. That's the route I use just because I do get a little afraid of losing all of my top spin on Shadow. Mm-hmm. So I like to get the E-Tank and Hardman stage just in case I am not good at fighting him with just the Buster. Yeah, that's another thing too. We've seen a lot of people default back to Buster when they do run out of top spin, if they have done the Magnet First route, that is. But Shadow actually does take 2 damage from Hard Knuckle. It's kind of awkward to hit him with it since Hard Knuckle sort of freezes Mega Man in place for the first little bit when you first shoot it. But if you get close to him, similar to like the top spin strat, you can kind of just sort of shoot it directly into his hitbox. So it is a good alternative, but I notice a lot of people just feel more comfortable with the Mega Buster, and so just decide to finish him off with that. But Needle is down for Darko, so he's got 4 Robot Masters left in 3 already. Just sort of flying through this game. 2wogood is into his 3rd stage, so again, sort of looks like he's about maybe not quite a full 2 stages behind, but he's probably closer to maybe about a little over 1, maybe 1.5, maybe at best at the moment. So it's not too terrible. Darko has learned Mega Man 5 and 6 to an extent, but I would say probably they're in his weaker sort of range of some of these Mega Man games as well, though, so we might see some more mistakes from him when he gets into those games too, who knows. See if 2wogood goes for this top jump. I know Darko didn't. I'm guessing he's not going to after seeing him take some of these jumps a little safely, so probably a better idea. If you go for that risky top jump at the end, it costs you about 35 seconds or so, just playing it safe, take that sort of extra half second. It's not a big deal. Ooh, he is going to get... Oh no, he got the 2 cycle. Alright. So an advantage here of having Shadow Blade to fight Magnet with is you can throw Shadow Blades directly up. So if you get a bad pattern, which Darko didn't, but if you get a bad pattern and he jumps, you can still hit him when he's up in the air. So it's kind of an actual better weapon to fight him with than Spark. Yeah, and Shadow Blade seems like it was doing a lot of damage there. It might have been the buffer, but it looked like it killed him really quick.
Yeah, I think most people don't actually realize that Magnet is actually weak to both Spark and Shadow Blade equally. Like four hits is all it takes from both weapons. So I know even when I was younger and playing this game as a kid, I didn't realize that. I always fought him with Spark because I just thought that was his only weakness. But once you find a weakness, sometimes you don't try other weapons. You found it, right? You're good.
Yeah, they really went for something different with the weaknesses. The weaknesses in Mega Man 3 kind of went back to the ones from 1 and 2 for 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, there's no real flat-out weakness order really in 3. Like, there's some weapons that are obviously weaknesses for certain bosses, but it's not just one sort of arc of weaknesses. Like, you've got 3 closed-loop weakness orders in Mega Man 3. With Needle Spark or Needle Gemini and Snake being one, and then the other 5 being the other. So at some point you have to break into one of the other closed loops with a soft weakness. So like you saw Darko using Gemini Blade on, or Shadow Blade on Gemini Man, which only actually does 2 damage, so it's not his actual weakness. But it's faster to break into that with a 2 damage weapon as opposed to a 1 damage.
Mm-hmm.
2wogood taking an extra hit there, but he does get Shadow down.
Yeah, he lost a bunch of tops, so it seemed like he backed off for a second, just didn't want to be too far into his hitbox and lose the rest of it.
Yeah. Rush Jet in this game actually only uses energy while Mega Man is standing on Jet. In the later games, Jet sort of just continually moves once you land on him, so 4, 5, and 6, it does count down. Or I guess 4 and 5, it counts down. There is no actual Rush Jet in 6. It's a slightly different mechanic. So in this game, you actually manually move Rush Jet. It was sort of the really overpowered version of Rush Jet. And yeah, you only use energy while you're standing on him, so you can sort of save some energy if you want to jump off of Rush Jet as you're going.
Yeah, and you're really going to see that here in Snake. How much use that Rush Jet energy bar.
Yeah. Yeah, Jet is heavily used in the Snake stage just because there's a lot of high vertical sections. A lot of places where you don't want to wait for platforms, you'd just rather fly over, and you can fly over some mini-bosses here, so just a much needed weapon. Ooh, 2wogood sliding a little early into the screen transition. He's not going to get the skip for Proto. So he's going to have to wait, watch this really long cutscene, and he's going to have the music lagging the game now. Shooting his way through these tadpoles, not setting up the zip. So yeah, you see Darko just using Jet to his advantage. Not worrying about these enemies, just fly over them. There's no reason to kill them. They take an annoyingly long amount of time to kill, so we're just going to avoid them completely.
Yeah, you can see 2wogood's got the actual penguins on his screen because it didn't corrupt them with the proto skip.
Yeah. It's weird almost now, like, after speedrunning the game enough, when you actually see the penguins there, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? They look right, but in reality, to a speedrunner, it kind of looks wrong.
Yeah, you haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
And you notice the thing Darko was doing there when he was on the Rush Jet, he was at the top of the screen jumping off of it. And putting Mega Man off the screen like that helps reduce some of the lag from all those enemies and the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being off of the jet reduces the energy it uses.
Yeah. 2wogood electing to just use Marine through that long Gemini screen, so no risk at failing a single block slide, which is good. Just has to finish off Gemini here. Again, using that soft weakness with Shadow Blade.
And there we go, and he got Almost right, yeah, right in the center of the screen.
So 3 more stages for 2wogood. Meanwhile, Darko's in his final stage, so he's almost done with Mega Man 3, and then he'll be off to 4. No, this is not the finals. So this tournament just started actually on Saturday. So we're going to see a lot of races yet coming up. There were 40 entrants, and so right now we're in pool play. There's four runners in each pool, a total of 10 pools. And so every runner has to play everyone obviously in their pool, and then the top 2 people from each pool will advance to a single elimination bracket. So the runners actually have, since the tournament started on this past Saturday, they have 2 weeks from that Saturday to get their 3 races in. So definitely you're going to be seeing a lot of 46 Robot Masters here and on the Speedruns Live channel, sort of covering the overflow from the Speed Gaming channel. And again, definitely thanks to them for allowing us to do that.
Of course, yeah. Oh.
And Darko is done with Spark and done with Mega Man 3. So off to Mega Man 4. Again, not a stranger to this game. Darko actually had a very... So I started playing Mega Man 4 about, I guess, close to 2 years ago now. And Darko had already had a pretty strong time. He was the fastest Canadian Mega Man 4 at the time. And so definitely not a stranger to this game. He's very consistent, even with not playing the game very much. So expect, again, another sort of strong set of stages here from him. 2wogood sort of taking his time, making sure he doesn't miss his lasers. Ooh, does get an unfortunate, really fast high jump from Needle. Kind of a jerk pattern there, but it does bounce around and get him, so... So only 2 stages left for 2wogood in Mega Man 3. So Darko there did sort of increase his lead a little bit, as you can see. And that's to be expected. Again, Darko being ranked 3rd in the world in Mega Man 3. I mean, you're going to expect some high quality play there.
And there's 2wogood finishing up Needleman, and we're doing Pharaoh first here on Darko's side.
Taking his time using Coil to get over to the balloon. In this category, since we're only playing the Robot Master stages, the balloon doesn't save a ton of time. It saves about 10 seconds. So using Coil here actually really cuts into that time save, because it costs about 1.5 seconds just the menu to Coil, and then he waited on the fly for a couple seconds too. So even with perfect execution now with the balloons, he may only save about 4 or 5 seconds here. So kind of unfortunate, but if everything goes well, he should still save a little bit of time. Good, making his way through Snake. Snake is probably the longest, one of the longest stages for sure in Mega Man 3, so a lot of rooms to go through.
Probably Snake and Hard, I would say, are probably the two longest ones. And you got ones like Needle that are just over in a flash.
Yeah, for sure. So Darko's coming into his Pharaoh Man fight. This fight isn't too terrible. If you stay close to Pharaoh Man, it actually becomes very manageable. He just likes to do what he's doing right now, just charge up and shoot, charge up and shoot. The further away you get from Pharaoh, actually, the harder this fight gets, because he starts to become very aggressive. So obviously Darko staying close gets a very good pattern, other than the fact that Pharaoh didn't die in the middle. I mean, that's really, you can't really ask for much more.
Unless I just missed the center of the screen there, but just a hair.
Yeah. Pharaoh is probably one of the easiest Robot Masters when it comes to damage. He only deals 4 damage with his body, so it's not too terrible to take contact damage from. However, every other boss in the 8 robots deals 8 damage with their bodies, so contact damage from bosses becomes very, very dangerous for people who aren't ready for it. And so the runners have to be pretty careful in Mega Man 4 that when they are taking damage, that their HP is okay, and that they're very aware of, you know, what they need to do after taking the damage so they don't take another hit afterwards.
Alright, we're gonna skip this big hippo guy here. Even though he's probably one of the cutest robots Dr. Wily's created.
Yeah, Ringman stage has a lot of mini-bosses. There are 4 in this stage. But we actually only need to kill 1, and that's this one right here. We got 2 hippo mini-bosses and 2 ring mini-bosses, but thankfully in Mega Man 4, the developers forgot to put the sort of blocking walls on the right side that prevent you from passing. So we just sort of jump up, take a hit, and slide through the mini-bosses and continue on. Health management is probably the hardest thing to deal with when you're first learning this stage because you take so many hits through mini-bosses and such. And the Ringman fight is, again, for especially if you ever played this game casually, usually one of the harder fights for most people. They struggle with it. So as you can see, Darko coming into this fight with, looks like he's got about 6 HP here, so he can take a hit off of a ring, but he can't take a body hit. He will get one-shotted, so this fight is usually routed in a way to try to do it without taking any additional hits. And it looks so much scarier when you can't see what's actually going on with these frame drops, but he does get his kill without getting hit, so Darko is through 2 stages.
We had to hold our breath there while it was...
Yeah.
God.
It's like, well, he's still alive right now.
If it never stops buffering, it means he never died.
Mm-hmm. 2wogood finishing off Spark here, so this is his final Robot Master of 3. Gets his last hit there, and he's off to Mega Man 4. So again, still about 2 Robot Masters behind, so we'll see how strong his Mega Man 4 gameplay is here. See if he can try to minimize the time loss again to Darko here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where he starts on Mega Man 4. Is it? Oh, okay, it is Bright Man.
Yep, off to Bright. That's a good choice. Bright is the best race route, because realistically, Pharaoh's route is only about 2 to 3 seconds faster, and like the way Darko did it, it's actually slower than what 2wogood's doing because he coiled over the pit to balloon. So basically, any time save he could have had with the Pharaoh first route, he's gonna lose. He lost there. So you're not really gonna see any real time differences now between these 2 routes. But the jump over the pit to get balloon in Pharaoh for 2wogood is gonna be a lot easier because he's gonna have Flash Stopper, which is gonna prevent the flies from being able to shoot him and knock him into the pit.
Yeah, he'll have no flies there and none of the sand scorpions coming up to try and get him. Yeah, that's another big thing is, since all those enemies can't come out of the sand and the flies can't drop bullets, it means that those first screens of Pharaoh are very, very just lag-free. And that's actually a kind of a big problem when you do it with busters. You can get some bad luck from those flies, and they can drop like 3 to 6 bullets sometimes on a screen at once, and it just generates a lot of lag. So really, again, another really nice advantage of going with Bright. Yeah, that screen just becomes slide as much as you can, and don't somehow drown yourself in the sand. Yeah.
It's hard to see right now, but so Darko is doing the fight here with Bright Man now. He's using Pharaoh Shot. It's not actually his weakness, but Pharaoh has a glitch where if you hit a target with the charge above your head without releasing the B button, you can then release B after and get a full charge for free. So essentially you're getting 2 charge shots for the price of 1, and so it makes that fight a little bit faster. Funny enough, that fight with Pharaoh Shot is actually faster than using Toadman's actual weakness, which is Rain Flush. Rain Flush itself is a really slow weapon, and so ultimately we would rather fight him with Pharaoh Shot.
You only want to use that when you soft lock on the Wily capsule fight, or the Wily machine fight.
You notice, okay, so 2wogood unfortunately does get a flash here. Flashes are not random, actually. A lot of people think they are, but Brightman will use a Flash Stopper on Mega Man at very set intervals, and it's dependent on his hit points. If Brightman has 16, 8, or 4 health remaining, he will flash Mega Man. So as long as the runners basically deal damage to Brightman in a very specific way and avoid those HP values, they will avoid Brightman's ability to flash them.
Yeah, and he also got lucky that Brightman decided to shoot him out of the sky instead of landing on him with that body and doing all that damage.
Yeah, he did have the health to take the body hit, but yeah, like, again, sometimes when that happens and you do get really low on HP, it can be kind of scary, you know, you gotta worry about nerves and everything like that too, so kind of fortunate again, yeah, like you said, that he didn't get the high damage hit. Again, seeing now why we go to Bright and Pharaoh this early in the route, it's because of how broken these weapons really are. Again, talking about Pharaoh having the glitch, getting 2 hits for 1. You can see 2wogood and Darko there were both using Flash Stopper pretty freely there, and the reason they do that is Flash Stopper will freeze enemies in place for 5 seconds, and it sort of allows them to move through rooms without any lag, and it also keeps enemies, like I said, in place so that they don't have to worry about, you know, dodging them. And then really the glitch with it is that for whatever reason, when Mega Man slides, that timer does not tick down. So essentially you can make that 5 seconds last for an entire screen if your movement and your slide chains are very good. So it becomes a very broken weapon because you essentially freeze enemies in place for entire screens and you can get through them with almost no danger whatsoever. And you'll see Darko do that again in Skull stage here. I'm sure he'll do this zip here with Balloon first, but oh no, he's not going to do the zip. So actually, the fact that he's not doing the zip, he's actually losing some time here doing Buster. You're better off to immediately change to Bright again because of that same reason. Like I said, freezing the screen keeps enemies in place, and when they're not moving, they don't really generate as much lag. So Darko actually loses some time there doing Buster strats because the enemies, the turret enemies get bullets off, and the spike enemies spawn, and so he'll get some lag frames for that. Meanwhile, you see, like I said, remember, staying close to Pharaoh is key. As you can see, 2wogood is trying to stay further away from Pharaoh, and because of that, Pharaoh is being a lot more aggressive and giving him scarier jump patterns, so it's not 100% manipulation, but it is very consistent, so you want to be standing close to Pharaoh.
Yeah, it seemed like Darko skipped some more balloon stuff in Skullman stage.
Yeah, going for those Flash Stopper strats, it's not a bad strat. I mean, you lose out, you have to climb the ladders a little more, so you lose out a little bit on some of those time saves, but still a pretty good strat. I've always said darkomegamagic, but that's he's never corrected me. He doesn't even know. Look at that. So Darko has a pretty nice Skullman fight there. Gets a good pattern. Nice short shield. That's what you want to see. That's really the only RNG in that fight. He's 100% manipulatable in his pattern, except for how long he holds his shield out. So pretty lucky pattern there for Darko.
Use that balloon just to pop right up and hit the hippo.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually the standard strat in that room for a long time. But in the second hippo skip, you actually use Pharaoh Shot to go past him, and it's a little bit faster than Balloon. And so I thought, why not just change to Pharaoh one room earlier and do it in that room as well? So sometimes you see the runners still use Balloon there, and sometimes you'll see them switch to Pharaoh right before that first hippo. It sort of depends on how the runners feel, what they're more confident with, because the Balloon one is definitely easier.
You see, he used the Flash Stopper there to freeze those crawler guys, so you can grab that big health real quick, make it a little bit. He won't be going into Ringman with his low HP as Darko did, make it a little bit safer for himself.
Yeah, again, those fights can be pretty scary, so... meanwhile, you saw Darko kill that first whale. Similar idea, again, using Flash Stopper. You basically just freeze the whale at a height that you can just jump and mash as hard as you can to kill them. And with Darko, mashing as hard as he can, it's a beautiful thing. And you see there, a nice clean one jump. Does get a few lag bullets, but again, one jump is more important than that, really.
Ooh, shot his Ferris shot the wrong way.
Yeah. Getting some ring throws here. Hopefully he should be still okay. He's got to get either 2 small ones. Yeah, okay. He's going to do 1 more full charge.
Yeah, so it's a good idea for him to pick up that health.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like he's got 8 left, and a large health refills 10. So yeah, if he hadn't picked it up, he would have died.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a bad idea to take that second to grab, or a few seconds to grab that health. If if it keeps you alive, hey, you don't die.
Yeah, definitely. Like in a race setting, especially one that's this long, know your limits, know what you're comfortable with, and know what you're not comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with that fight, even though there is no randomness to that fight, it's still really, really scary because Ringman is very fast. So you have to be basically doing your action, knowing what he's going to do. And if you're not really comfortable with that, then definitely grabbing the health is not a bad idea. 2wogood is actually doing Pharaoh strats here in Dust. They're pretty risky, so he's actually doing some of the safer ways to do it. Pharaoh is actually, if done optimally, Pharaoh is only about half a second faster than Flash Stopper in these rooms, so it's really not a huge time save. But the nice thing is for this room, you can actually kill these little copter head enemies by throwing shots up and down. It makes it a little bit easier. You can reduce a little more lag here, which is good. That is the laggiest room in Mega Man 4, so if you can reduce it at all, it's kind of nice.
If you're bad like I am and you don't shoot any of those red guys, you start to see your NES starting to smoke in the corner.
Yeah. Ooh. 2wogood actually has to be kind of careful here. So there's ways. It's not common, but there are ways where if you buster these blocks in a very certain way, depending on how the movement goes of them, you can actually soft lock in here.
Really?
It's tough to do, but I've definitely done it a couple times, and whenever I do it, it's pretty frustrating. Ooh, Darko doesn't get the little enemy there as Flash Stopper wore off at a very, very unopportune time.
Yeah, his shot that was going to hit him ended up just refreezing the time.
Mm-hmm. But basically how it works is you shoot a bunch of buster shots, and you'll have like 2 of your buster shots catch the 2 blocks, let's say, on the one level you're sliding on, or you're about to slide into, just because of like the height difference. And let's say your 3rd shot comes up and hits the one below it, and you'll get like caught along the floor into that 2 block section, and then the blocks will go up, and they'll basically trap you in a 2 by 1 tile space, and you can't get back down. It's kind of interesting how it works, but it's very, very precise and it's hard to do. But I've seen it happen.
I'm very surprised I haven't accidentally done it, because usually if I can mess something up in a game, I'm going to. So.
Yeah. The crushers are interesting actually, because you can soft lock, or you can zip in them too, but it's a very kind of precise trick, and it isn't faster than the current RTA strats anyway. Darko does get through Drill fairly easily. Drill, one of the more annoying bosses to fight in Mega Man 4, but 2wogood also not going for the zip here.
Yeah, and it seems our other match that was going on almost simultaneously with this one ended up finishing. So let's see, who was racing in that?
It was Casio 3rd versus Becca Red, if I remember correctly.
And it seems to be that Becca Red was the winner of that match.
I'm kind of curious. I'll have to go back and see how close it was, because I know, like I said, Casio did have that really unfortunate overzip in Woodman, so I know that would have cost them a lot of time, but congrats to Becco on taking his first win. I think it was his first race, so Good job. Seeing this first half of Skull done with Buster is actually kind of surprising. But 2wogood does now switch to Flash Stopper for the second half of the stage. And Darko is in Toadman right now. I always like to point out that a lot of people don't really consider Toad to be a challenge. Just because his boss fight is really easy, but his stage is actually surprisingly tricky when you're trying to go fast. There's a lot of different things that affect the physics of Mega Man, like these waterfalls, and like the rain that was in the first screen. So runners have to be a little bit careful here and make sure that their inputs are on point, because they don't want to jump a little bit late and have the waterfall pull them into a pit.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things in Toadman stage. It's pretty cool. Like you said, the rain, the waterfalls pushing either way. You got some water there at the end. Really neat stage.
2wogood also getting a very, very short shield from Skull, so that's very lucky from both runners. A little bit of a lag spike again there for Darko. But he's got his Toadman kill, and he's got 2 more games to go. 16 Robot Masters to go.
Oh, we got some DJ iPad V-cheater screen from Darko.
I'm noticing a pattern. I don't know if you've seen one, Kong, but I'm starting to notice one here.
I remember watching that. I remember him hitting his head on that iPad.
2wogood is now into Dive Man stage. We didn't mention it when Darko was going through this, but Mega Man 4, you can jump out of your slides fine, but underwater, for whatever reason, the game will not allow you to jump out of your slides. So if you're playing through the whole game and all of a sudden you realize you're sliding near an edge and you can't jump out, sometimes the runner's got to be careful and quickly cancel it before they actually slide to their doom. So keeping that in mind is really important for these screens. And that's why you actually see sometimes 2wogood there. He's actually turning to the left on purpose there to make sure that he doesn't slide off the edge onto the spikes. Darko's into Mega Man 5. Starman is the first stage. We've got low gravity here since he is in, I guess, outer space, hence the Starman. And so he's got, again, really quickly adjusting to new physics is always a thing in this race. It always seems, this category.
Yeah, you got so many different, like, little small differences between each game that maybe you don't think about when you're just playing them casually separately, but especially when you're playing them all in a row like this, you really start to notice them.
Yeah.
And there was a trope of in the Mega Man games, they really like that when you got either water or the gravity. They like to have the room that's pretty closed in, and you got spikes on the top and the bottom. You got to kind of measure your jumps to get in between them. I know they do that in, I think, Wily 1 and Mega Man 4 and Starman and...
Yeah, Centaur and Mega Man 6.
Does it, yeah. And those are the jumps that always make you kind of take a deep breath real quick, and, you know, I always get a little scared doing them.
Yeah. Well, and again, talking about differences in physics, after playing all the first 5 games, when you do get to that one in Centaur, it is kind of scary because Mega Man 6 actually has really fast fall speed. So if you're used to the sort of slightly floatier jumps of Mega Man 1 and 2, or even just that sort of slight, you sort of float a little bit in 4 and 5 and 3 when you let go of A. But in 6, it's like you let go of A, down you go. So you have to be very careful on that one in particular. But as you can see, Darko finishes Star. He's got Star Crash and Super Arrow, and that's why we go to Starman first, because the Super Arrow is going to be used heavily throughout the next 7 stages. It's useful in similar to like the balloon, where you saw in Mega Man 4, where they could climb vertically very quickly. And then it's also like Item 2, as you see here, Darko riding it here, just like the Item 2 in Mega Man 2. So it allows you to go fast vertically and horizontally. So it's going to be a really, really good weapon to have throughout the other 7 stages.
Yeah, the Super Arrow is a really cool thing to see people use, the way they optimize the weapon energy and whatnot for the Super Arrow.
Mm-hmm. You will see too, some of the times where it looks like the runners are sort of running off the edge of the arrow. That's actually not just to make that little nice sound effect of Mega Man continually being picked up by the arrow. It actually is doing something. It's preserving a little bit of ammo, and by doing that in certain screens, they can make the arrow last a little longer, and sort of make it useful in more screens than just 1 or 2.
And you saw 2wogood accidentally froze the screen a little late there, so there were bullets on the screen, so he kind of had to wait till they the time unfroze so he could jump over to those platforms.
Mm-hmm. The other option is to try to just take an extra damage boost and then jump through the bullets, but you got to be, again, careful, because if you're not, 100% sure of your health and these boss fights, like I said, it's kind of scary. And he's coming into this Drill Man fight with only 8 HP, which means a body hit will kill him. He doesn't have an E-Tank, so his best bet here is if he knows he's going to take damage to get hit by a drill, because the drill shots only deal 3 damage. So he can take 2 hits from projectiles, but 1 body hit will kill him.
Yeah, and this can be kind of a... it looked like he was maybe trying to charge him there, because this is going to be a hard hit.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to take a forced death.
Yeah, a hard fight to not get hit in, and I mean, you figure he might have got him down to 1 or 2 hits left and then died, so not a bad idea. He just rushed him a little too late, I think.
Yeah, I always feel when people are learning Mega Man 4, I always try to recommend that they put a lot of time into learning the actual boss fights, because that is really I think one of the hardest parts of the speedrun is properly learning how to fight these bosses, since they deal so much damage. Avoiding damage is so important. So knowing how they work, their patterns, and what you need to do to deal with them is, I feel, more important sometimes in 4 than it is in most of the other Mega Man games.
Wow, and he is getting a ton of dives here from Drill Man.
Yeah, kind of unlucky there. But 1 more stage to go for him in Mega Man 4. And meanwhile, Darko is into Gyro. He's about halfway through now, going through this really long checkpoint room with all these gyro blocks. This is sort of where we're going to see this first sort of auto-scroller. Since we don't play the castle stages, we don't see the 1 and 4, so this is sort of the 2 elevators and Gyro are sort of like the first auto-scrollers we see. They're really short, though, unlike the 2 that you'll see in Wave.
Alright, now we're going to see one of the easiest boss kills in any of the games right here.
Yeah, it's funny because Gyro is actually, RNG-wise, almost just as terrible as Drill Man in 4. But, lucky for us, he's weak to a weapon that hits the entire screen, so even if he goes way up in the clouds where you wouldn't normally be able to hit him with Buster, it doesn't matter. We can still hit him, so... 2wogood getting actually what I consider to be the most dangerous drop in the entire game. That little tiny ammo drop at the end of that waterfall is very scary, so very good on him to not let it eat his input there on his jump and still make it. Usually, I won't lie, when I get that drop and I'm moving fast with my sliding, there's a very strong chance I'm going to die.
Yeah, that's just based on, the only thing you can do with that is just hope your reactions are good enough. You really can't, if you anticipated too much, you're going to slow down. And whoa, taking the damage boost off the fish there.
Should be okay. Thankfully, it's only Toadman. But we also don't want to see a death to Toadman, so he's going to have to be careful here, make sure nothing too crazy happens. Meanwhile, Darko... Oh, Darko taking the death!
Jeez.
But thankfully, joke's on everybody else that doesn't know, this is all part of the plan. So
2wogood sliding to the center of the screen. There we go.
Some hype dog. We've got some hype dog going here. Yeah, shout outs to the hype dog.
I love it.
But this is an interesting skip in Mega Man 5. So for whatever reason, dying on the frame that second enemy appears will prevent the little ball from appearing above him, like you see the first one has there, and it'll fill up in the memory with the death animation sprites of Mega Man. And so, for whatever reason, it does some weird stuff in the memory of the game. And, 40 to 45 seconds later, Bob's your uncle, we're at the boss corridor and fighting Crystal Man. It's not a strat you'll see commonly used in Mega Man 5, because in the standard Mega Man 5 run, you want to get beat so that you have him for the castle stages. But since this is just 8 robots and beat is not needed, we don't need the letters, so the runners can save some time in this stage. Darko used the arrow setup, so that saves about 9 seconds as opposed to actually playing the stage.
Oh, jumping over the spaceman there. It looked like he tried to turn around to get a little damage off him, but just barely missed the hitbox.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about just like a little while ago. These scary rooms with all the different physics, and jumping up again.
If you can stay alive, you should be okay, because Mega Man 5 is very favorable with extra life drops. So we'll have to see here.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna take the D-boost. That's probably smart, especially now, because he's on his last life. He hasn't been in the game long enough to see any 1-up drops yet, it looks like, so hopefully he'll get a few here. At least I don't think so. I didn't see one.
Yeah, you can blink and miss him in this game, so
yeah. Darko going for the really easy cavern room of Napalm. Looks like he should be fine and get to his boss room here. Ooh, does bonk on the ATST there just outside the door, but
yeah, that was probably like a subconscious. Let's let go early just so we don't hit those spikes.
So the nice thing about Starman is you can actually shoot through his shield, so we want to stay close to Star so we can put our shots directly into his hitbox. 5 is actually notorious for that. There's a lot of invulnerable enemies that if you just stand a little bit closer to them, you can actually put your shots right inside their vulnerable hitbox spot and still deal damage to them. Nice fight there by Darko. Very, very clean napalm fight. And Starman is down for 2wogood, so little rough there on that first stage for him, but you're out of the stage now. Behind you, and now you can sort of focus on the rest. Meanwhile, Darko with 3 stages left in Mega Man 5. Stone, I would say, is probably one of the longer stages. I mean, if you don't count Wave because it's got the auto-scrollers, but there's actually quite a lot of screens to go through in Stone, so I always like watching people do this stage because seeing the entire thing done really well is so impressive.
Yeah, this is a really cool stage. A lot of the stages in Mega Man 5 are really cool to watch when you see the really precise super arrow tech.
And we see 2wogood not switching to arrow yet, so he must not be quite comfortable with all the arrow strats in Mega Man 5 quite yet.
Yeah, I believe he knows the crystal skip, because I think we were talking about that not too long ago.
Okay.
So we'll have to see what he knows. Yeah, by recommendation, even if you don't know all the other arrow strats, the crystal one is pretty easy to learn. So it's not too bad of an idea to pick that one up.
Mm-hmm. He had a really nice slide over that one turret there. That was really
that was pretty good.
Really good arrow placement. And one nice bonus about Mega Man 5 is Rush Jet comes down really fast to your position in this game, so even though now Darko is out of Super Arrow, he can still use Jet to do some of these nice little vertical jumps again to cut out some of the ladder climbs. And coming into the Stone Man fight, there's not a whole lot to say about this fight other than it's pretty much the Toad Man of Mega Man 5. And 2wogood doing the gravity fight. Gravity actually, again, similar to like a boss like Ringman. There's 0 RNG in this fight, so it's 100% the same every time. So it's nice the runners already know where he's gonna be. But yeah, Stone Man, stay close to him, and he just jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps. Two goods off the gyro. Probably. Well, it's hard to say actually. Like he definitely lost some time to Darko in 4. I'm not really sure how much, because when he started, he was about 2 stages back. So I don't think he lost the full 2 stages there, but probably about a stage and a half worth of time. Kind of unfortunate, but like I said, Darko's Mega Man 3 and 4 times are very strong. So,
oh, that was very close there. Almost hit those satellites and fell back into that pit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Darko seems to be having a really good, a pretty good Mega Man 5 too. It had a lot of good arrow placements.
Yeah, I think that one there was actually his first sort of mistake, where he placed his arrow too low, so he got knocked off of it. But he's into the chicken room now. Probably the most fun screen in Mega Man 5, I think, for the 8 robots.
This was, when I was younger, I never really used weapons outside of boss battles.
Agreed, yeah, I was
I
like
always
that
wanted
too.
to save everything, you know, oh, I might need it, you know, even though I knew I didn't. So
Yep.
that room would always be such a pain with those rats that are just a little too short to hit with your buster unless it's charged.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
And
I was
in this
very
game,
similar.
Yeah, you lose your charge when you get hit, so trying to charge and hit the rats and then having them hit me, and it's a never-ending cycle of me never being able to hit them.
Yeah, definitely. So Darko going immediately to Power Stone. He's not even going to go for the early quick buster hits here. So this fight is notorious for being terrible if you don't know how to properly execute it. We saw Baron actually the other day get a really beautiful charge fight where I think he paused once.
Yeah.
It was so good. But other than that, if you can't do the ridiculously awesome, amazing hard fight, then you do that fight where you basically hit and then pause and then hit and then pause. It's just faster to pause Power Stone off the screen than it is to actually wait for the stones to disappear, because you cannot fire again until they're off the screen.
Yeah, generally probably the most hated weapon in the entire 1 through 6 Mega Man games.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to Darko for dedicating his chicken room. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we got Wave and Napalm coming up here on the screens. Or Wave and Crystal, I'm so sorry.
Well, we'll see here. We'll see now if 2wogood's going to set up this skip here, or he's going to just play the stage. He's switching to Arrow, so looks like he's definitely going to go for it. It's always a little bit nervous here. Like it's a pretty consistent setup. Baron came up with this setup with the arrow that's pretty awesome actually, and he got it. So
Yep.
Very nice. Good job. But it's still scary, because if there is something that goes wrong and let's say you're falling off the arrow or whatever, once you run out of arrow ammo, you really only have 2 options, and that's either to farm more arrow, which can be sometimes a very terrible decision. We've seen some people sit there for like 5 to 10 minutes trying to get enough ammo when they could have, just played the stage through. And you usually have so many lives in Mega Man 5, so you can't just instantly game over. So missing that when you go for it kind of sucks sometimes. It means you have to make a kind of difficult decision.
That was a good call by 2wogood there in the chat. After he finished killing himself, he said, I hope I have enough lives. Because he did take those 2 deaths in Starman stage.
We did!
Oh!
Yeah, he never got a 1-up. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
He played through 3 stages and didn't get a 1-up? Are you kidding me?
I can't remember the last time I've seen a game over in Mega Man 5 just because of the 1-ups.
Unreal.
And unfortunately, since he did the skip, he still had to wait the 45 seconds the screen to load and then to tell him it was a game over.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's rough because you never really think about your life count in Mega Man 5 just because, as we've been saying, wow.
What a drop. Thanks, game. Insult to injury at the moment here.
Mega Man 5 is just rubbing salt in the wound right now.
He's got it again, though. So that was really unfortunate. Again, yeah, those 2 deaths in Star really came back to bite him. And Darko, meanwhile, has just gone through the auto-scrollers, no big deal, just sort of making his way through Mega Man 5 and into this last boss fight.
Yeah, and you can see that they started Crystal Man stage they started Crystal Wave almost at the same exact time. And yeah, just having to wait for this screen and the game over and everything, and
yep. And there it is.
There's Mega Man 5.
One more game to go.
Yep, we're going on to Mega Man 6. Uh-oh.
I knew it was coming.
I was hoping we were going to get some more fighting game gifts, FGC gifts. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So 2wogood does get to the Crystal Man fight. He's about halfway through his robots now as he gets this kill right here. Very nice. So big difference now. Can't jump out of a slide anymore.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're either canceling or turning your body around to stop your momentum so you can jump.
This is the game I'm always interested to see Darko play, because I think this is one of his weaker games. So when you see him play through it and it's like he still plays really well, it's kind of like, wow, that's his bad game. So we'll see how he does. He went for some pretty crazy stuff last night in his other race, so I'm interested to see if he goes for things like bomb skip again.
He may feel he has the time to do it, so he might hey, there's the 1-up drop for 2wogood.
There it is. Thanks, game. Thanks.
Coming at the
up.
Perfect time. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Mm-hmm. 2wogood using these Star Crash strats here on these insta-kill. I don't even know what those things would be called necessarily. I guess they're like spike drill things. Things. Not a bad idea, actually, because it is an insta-kill. So if you mistime a Buster shot, since Mega Man 5 has every enemy in the game has invincibility frames, so you can't just mash enemies down, and so not being able to just mash those drill things down quickly, sometimes you can mistime a shot and not think that it's going to be alive, and then realize too late that you didn't get the kill. Darko has a pretty clean win stage for the most part. He took a couple extra hits in a few spots, but he coming into the Windman fight. 2wogood, unfortunately, taking another death.
Just a little early there and didn't make it all the way over the pit there.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing about doing wind in 6 first is you get it's Flame Man's weakness, and Flame is one of the best weapons in this game. So it's really good that you can kill Flame very quickly. In that regard, you can do Flame first. We've actually seen Flame first in the tournament already. Primal has done some Flame first, and I think somebody else did as well. But the Buster fight is a lot harder. It's a little bit tricky. You got to be very careful because you got to shoot your Buster shots sort of over top of Flame Man's little firewalls that he puts up sometimes. And the other thing is having all the other weapons, having the other 7 weapons for Windman stage really doesn't help you in any way. You can still do that stage pretty much as fast as you would with just Busters. So there's not a huge advantage to really doing Flame first.
Yeah, he can just keep putting those little flames on the ground up, and you just have to sit there and wait for them to go away so you can hit them.
Yeah, like I said, there's a really small window where you can shoot over top of them and hit them, but it's a lot harder than Windman. Like Windman, he's never invulnerable. The only time you can't hit him is if he decides to fly very high up into the air, and then you can't hit him. So
yeah, and you usually never. I never see that, at least.
Yeah, it's not very common. I think it actually has something to do with if you jump at the same time he starts to fly. Because I think the height that he flies is somehow based off of Mega Man himself.
Oh, okay.
I've noticed that anyway. Like if I'm standing close to Wind and I sort of jump at the same time he's about to go up, I notice that he usually flies a little bit higher.
Okay. Yeah, maybe he just has a set amount of height over Mega Man.
Ooh, Darko! I think we saw Darko do that exact same thing last night, actually. Like, I think literally exactly that death.
It looks like he might have had his jump eaten because that the short
flame.
little lag that happens when the oil sets on fire.
Yep. Yeah, for whatever reason, when the oil lights and turns to fire there, the insta-kill fire, there's a really small minor lag spike that happens. So, might have had a jump input eaten, maybe.
Yeah, and it's a little hard to notice it here on his screen when you're watching, but when you're playing it, you can definitely feel it.
Yeah, for sure. So here you see Wind makes very, very quick work of Flame here. The only real RNG to the Flame fight is if he gives you high jumps. You don't really want high jumps from Flame because obviously you can't hit him, so... No, I don't think it's exactly like that, Pot Dot, but you definitely do manipulate him somehow to get high flies, because I notice every single time that I do a little hop as he starts to fly, he goes too high and I can't hit him. Every single time. 100% every single time.
Alright, and here comes Blizzard Man stage. A very fun stage. I like these little seal guys.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is they have quite a bit of health, so it's not worth really slowing down to actually kill them. We just deboost and slide right through them. 2wogood is done with Stone, so he's got 2 stages left in Mega Man 5. The most fun stage, and the most not fun stage. So, ice physics all over the place in this stage, obviously, being that it's the Blizzard stage, so you gotta be a little bit careful. You don't want to do any turn cancels on ice, actually, because you'll sort of rubber band back the other direction. Ooh, Darko actually gets margarine pitted here, but luckily for him, he was actually too slow, so he didn't die. But yeah, you want to actually do your A cancels on the ice, because that way you maintain your momentum forward. You don't have to worry about dealing with the sort of shooting backward.
Alright, so here we go. The question everybody had on their mind.
Nope, he's not doing it. He showed it off once, he's done. Again, slide chaining in 6 becomes pretty important, even more so, I think, than in 4 and 5, just because if you do hit your slide off, like you don't time it correctly, you actually come to a complete stop, because it's like doing an A cancel. So, making sure that you don't press A too early in your slides is pretty important. You can mash A technically to slide in this game, but you have to be holding down the entire time. If you let go of down, the A button will cancel your slide. And he gets a pretty okay pattern from Blizzard. Blizzard is probably, I guess you could say, the drill man of Mega Man 6. But every time he rolls, you can't hit him. He becomes invincible. So you're kind of hoping that you get not very many rolls and a lot of snowflake patterns.
Yeah, those snowflakes fall super slow. Well, pretty slow. Enough for you to get a couple hits on them at least.
Alright, 2wogood coming into his Charge Man fight. Let's see how this goes for him.
Pretty decent Charge Man fight. He got a lot of the nice arrow placements A couple hiccups inside of the long room.
Again, having to pause those power stones off the screen. But he is getting his hits in pretty good. And there's the go. One extra pause there for for good measure.
And this is why Flame is so great. Wow, the one jump.
Very nice. Yeah,
you get
those
6 hits to kill those golems.
Yeah, those gorillas have 24 HP. So they take 6 flames to kill, because Flame, like we said, does about 4 damage to almost everything in this game. So
yeah, you're sitting there for a while when you want to buster them, and then if you're missing shots, you're just pushing them backwards.
I think that was another one jump. I'm not sure, because we got some frame drops, but I think it was.
Yeah, I'd bet it was. Judging by how clean that first one was.
Question is, are we going to see plant forms? Nope, we're not. I didn't think we would, because I don't think we saw them last night either, so... So Darko has to be a little bit careful still, though. These springs... oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that that's an edge clip. It's not. I just want to point that out there. This game does have some pretty terrible edges. I'll give people that. But when you see those kind of deaths on those springs, they're actually not edge clips. If you look at the actual shape of the springs still have a one-tile shape hitbox. But the spring angles upward, right? The sprite of it angles sort of up. So it looks like you should be able to land on it, right? Like you can land further in, but you actually can't. The top of the spring is still a full square. So even though it looks like he got edge clipped and kind of unlucky there and the game killed him, he actually just didn't make the jump.
Oh, wow, a game over there.
Oof.
Wow, we see on...
Plant's a tough stage.
Yeah. 2wogood side, look, he got the, I saw him setting up the arrows for the jet ski skip, and I was like, what are you doing here? And he got it pretty clean, so.
Yeah, Plant is actually notorious. It's really like the last sort of big roadblock when you're trying to do attempts of this game. When you can finally get out of Blizzard and Plant, it's sort of like a relief. It's like, okay, finally, I've got a run going. This is it. Definitely not like unusual to see, you know, any of these runners struggle with the stage. It's a very challenging stage.
2wogood missing a lot of shots on that octopus guy there. I know he picked up an E-tank.
He's looking pretty scary. He can't pause. That's the thing, right? Like when you're on the auto. Well, no, he's not in the boat, so he should be able to pause.
Oh,
but he's just gonna go off screen, I guess.
I did not know that was a thing.
So yeah, if you don't get on the boat, the game doesn't check for Mega Man because you're not supposed to be able to get to the screen with Mega Man, right? And so you can sort of just walk off the screen. You have to. I forget how it actually works. I don't think you can just sort of walk off. I think you have to like jump off and then jump back in or something. Ooh, he didn't move back into the screen though.
Oh, so now
he didn't walk back in. So now he's gone.
Peapod's saying now just slide. Let's see.
Hopefully.
No, don't go all the way. Yeah, looks like 2wogood's gonna have to reset and take a password.
Yeah, I don't know if you can come back from that. I think that's.
Oh, what is going on?
Well, see, he can still transition through these screens, but since he has no hitbox, he can't die. So this is still a soft lock. He can't get hit by a Wave Man here. So unfortunately, this won't help. He can try to do stuff here, but like he's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to have to reset and play Wave Man stage again.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. So that when I just started the screen moving and the door opening, I was.
He may have just hardlocked actually too. I'm not sure. We don't have his audio up, so.
And yeah, I saw him type in chat while he was on that auto scroller. This is my first time trying this. I've never done it before. Did I soft lock? And then eventually he did soft lock. But he had the setup correct on it. Let's see if he has the password ready. If he has to go to Google, he might have to go to Google and look it up.
Yeah, this is the second password we've seen already today, so far in just this evening here. So it happens. Runners have to be very aware of the dangers of going for things like the boat skip. And honestly, it's kind of unfortunate because that boat skip only saves 1 second. Like, it's such a small time save, so it's really unfortunate that going for a 1 second time save just really cost them, you know, about probably 4 or 5, maybe even more than that, minutes.
Yeah.
Because the stage is like 3 minutes long if done really well, like executed really well. I think like Baron's Gold Split is like still over 3 minutes long, so.
Yeah, and you put that on top of the time he was sitting around there trying to figure out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
He says, just trying to show off. Well.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Darko got all the way through Plant on his next attempt through there, so he's into Tomahawk with already over halfway through it, so he's only got about 3.5 stages left to go to finish off his race here.
Yeah, we all got kind of preoccupied by the invisible Mega Man, so...
Looks like he's just going to take the boat this time.
Yeah.
Probably a wise decision. It's always unfortunate when you see people learn that stuff, though, when it's like, now it's like, here's the race, and then you find out about it. It's like, you would much rather find out about that kind of stuff, obviously, in practice, but...
Yeah.
He knows now, and he's still got 2 more races to do, so, you know, he can keep that in the back of his mind, you know, in case he just decides to just not do the boat skip anymore.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice job, too, of doing that on your first try. I'll give him props on that one. Alright, let's see what Tomahawk's looking like over here.
Darko's health is a little low for this fight, but he should still be okay. Ooh, he does take a death.
And now he's only going to have 2 shots to hit Tomahawk Man with the plant.
Yeah, he must have got bodied. It was hard to say because like he dropped some frames there, but he must have got bodied an extra time there. Because he had enough health, he could have taken 2 more hits, which should have been enough, but he must have just stayed inside the hitbox too long.
Yeah, it seems like he must have got close, got hit with the body, and when he was trying to run away, that's when he got caught up with a feather.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
There it is. Tomahawk is actually also one of the harder Buster fights, too, so good on him. Pretty good execution at the beginning of that fight, second attempt.
And there we go. That's confirmation. That was the first and apparently only wave skip we're gonna see from 2wogood.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's coming into Wave Man a little low.
Ooh, does he have any tank?
No, since he had to use that password.
Ooh. Gonna take that arrow to the face. Too bad it wasn't to the knee. So he's still got a lot of charge left over. He should still be fine. Should be able to get his Wave Man kill here.
I think with the health full like that, he probably should have just tried to tank it, because it seems like he's taking more damage not trying to just kill him. There we go.
Yeah. Oh man, come on. Come on. So we talked actually about how Mega Man 6's jet is a little different, and you're seeing Darko using it now. It's not actually sort of like Rush Jet in Mega Man 3 to 5. It's a little different in 6. You actually get you actually sort of equip Rush to Mega Man's body, and it becomes sort of a little adapter. Basically, it's called the jet adapter. It sort of connects to your body, and then you can use it to fly around. You have sort of a limited amount of time you can fly before you have to touch Mega Man somewhere to the ground to get your jet back. So you technically cannot run out of jet in this game, which is actually really nice, especially for like a casual playthrough. It's one of the nicest things about it.
Yeah, and it seems fitting they put it in Plant Man stage, because this is a really nice weapon to have when you're first playing through the game. Ooh, 2wogood coming way too close. Close shave America, close shave Barbasol.
Yeah, haircut right there.
But they put that jet adapter in Plant Man stage, so it's really nice to have. But when you're first playing the game, you gotta beat one of the hardest stages to get it.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to just hand it away without making you work for it. Ooh. Having some issues with that panda there, but... So Darko, 2 stages left, entering night. This is one of my favorite stages.
Yeah, really cool stage. Great music. I really like the tile set for it too.
Mm-hmm. He's going for a skip here that you really just can't see due to frame drops, unfortunately, but I think he ended up not menuing any, he just back deboosted on one of the enemies so that he didn't get crushed, I think is what he ended up doing. Looks like it. Gets through that little conveyor room. Doesn't do any crazy slides there. That's probably one of the worst rooms to die in since it's right before the checkpoint.
Yeah.
Goes bottom route. It's a little bit slower than going to that top route there, but at this point I don't think that's gonna matter a whole lot.
Yeah, unless the Wiimote batteries die, maybe, then we might.
Yeah. Have to run to the store to buy some double A's. that might be a problem if that happened.
Man.
I'd actually love to see Darko hit his home button right now just so we can see what the battery life is, but... Darko actually using Jet in the bouncy castle room, just trying to avoid the bouncing squares there.
Looks like he saw what Dark Tarek said and he wanted to show him a little bit.
So Knight, again, sort of, really, again, the only real RNG of this fight is if he jumps. It's very similar to a lot of the bosses in this game. You really don't want them to jump, because when they're up in the air, usually you can't hit them. So he did get a jump there, but only one, and it was a kind of a lower jump too, so he executed that pretty well. That was not bad at all.
Yeah, well done on that fight, and now he's moving into his final stage.
Yep. Yeah, one final one left in his second race, which is looking like it's going to be his second win, so he's going to be 2-0, I think, out of these in less than 24 hours. So there's only one other runner that's completed 2 races and is also 2-0, and that's Primal at the moment.
Yeah, and 2-0, that's a definitely on the right path to getting out of your group with 2 people coming out of each group.
Yeah, I think if you think about it, with only three races, if you can get 2 wins in your 3, I think you've pretty much clinched a spot in the single elimination bracket. Ooh, gotta watch out for those flamethrowers. They'll definitely snipe you out of the air. Again, not sure if he got hit there by that turret and used the iframes, or if he actually did make it. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Centaur, this is the checkpoint room, so Darko really getting into this final little section. He's gonna take a I was gonna say deboost across the spikes, but he second guessed himself there, and he's just gonna jump back and wait for the water ceiling to come back down.
It's kind of hard to tell there for a moment. I didn't know if that ledge was, maybe too high to jump back onto.
Mm-hmm. 2wogood's got 6 robots left in Mega Man 6, and then that'll be his run as well completed. So really, it's always at least comforting to know, like, even if you're playing somebody of Darko's caliber, to be at least on the same game as him before he finishes. I mean, that's good. I always think, like, if I'm playing against Fasta or somebody who's obviously better than me at all 6 of these games, I mean, that's all I could really hope for.
Right.
If realistically.
Yeah, and you gotta think if we wouldn't have had that really unfortunate Wave Man stage going on, you'd probably be at least one boss closer. Maybe about almost to the Plant Man door by now, you gotta think.
Yeah, maybe. And then you also had the crystal.
Oh yeah.
Crystal game over. That costs quite a bit of time as well. So, ooh, we got a flash, Darko. We got a flash. We got another flash because he's bored, I guess. But there it is.
And there he goes.
First place for Darko in this race. 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 53 seconds, according to RaceBot. So congratulations to Darko. That should be him moving on to the next round, basically.
Oh, we got more game cartridge snapping and controller snapping.
Yep. I'm actually disappointed he didn't have a sixth one ready.
I was kind of hoping we'd go back to DJ iPad.
Yeah. So, in case anyone was curious, so again, the flashes from Centaur, again, are not random. Ooh, that was actually an edge clip there. You saw what happened to 2wogood there. Mm-hmm. But thankfully that bomb was there to catch him. But the way flashes work in this game, again, just like in 4, it's not random. It's based on if something in the room is basically hit and in invincibility frames. So if you're hit with Mega Man and you're in invincibility frames, he won't flash you. And if he's in iframes from you shooting him, he won't flash you. Mm-hmm. So realistically, if you get flashed, it means you're fighting him too slow. You need to be getting your shots in faster so that he's not going to actually flash you. There you go. That's that one's for Kong, I think.
My my wish was granted. And 2wogood finishing up Blizzard Man there, very nice. That is actually the man who did the remix musics for Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, the fan game that came out a few years ago. Oh man.
5 stages to go here. See how 2wogood does coming into plant stage. Yeah, this is definitely, I would say, one of the hardest stages to execute in the 8 robots. Both actually Blizzard and Plant are difficult to play very fast. Mm-hmm. So you can play them safer and take them a little bit slower to make them easier, but realistically, you still got to make the jumps. Like in Plant, you still got to go across those springs. That doesn't change whether you're going slower or faster, so being very careful can be easier, but
2wogood almost getting the one jump there. I think he hit him with 5 of them, it looked like, on the one jump.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
I'm just happy when I hit him 3 times each jump.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's actually easier to do the one jump if you're a little bit further away from him when you start, because you get more shots on screen, and then you actually generate lag by having more shots on screen, making it easier to get your shots in. If you're right up next to him, it becomes very difficult to get 6 hits in, so sort of a little trick there. Ooh, watching out for that fish.
It's a good eye there to realize and come back.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna jump off that one, and he's gonna switch to Buster. It's probably a wise choice.
Yeah, he had it open for a minute. I was wondering if he was thinking about it, but
yeah,
I think it's a good idea just to.
The cool thing is that one that he did before that one, it's free to actually go for, because even if you don't get it and you get pushed off to the right side, as long as you're holding right, you won't die. You'll land on the ledge. So
yeah,
it's like you might as well go for that one because it's free, and then you can kind of you can practice it a bit and see if how hard those jumps really are. Because the platform jumps are a little tricky. You only have about 4 frames to jump off of those platforms if you're not holding left or right on the D-pad. If you're actually still holding right to try to go a little bit faster, it shrinks that window down to only 2 frames. But still, as long as you get your timing down, they're not too terrible, but they're definitely not easy, that's for sure. And I don't think we've seen very many runners actually go for them. sort of the Mega Man 6 boys have. But other than that, the guys, other than the guys who play the game sort of for a living, so to speak, everybody else has just sort of played it safe. And I mean, it's not really that much slower to just switch back to Buster and open the platforms. So
yeah, and it's kind of like the opposite of Fast Air. Like by the time you get here to Mega Man 6, you already know about how the race is going. You know what I mean? So it helps you make a good decision on whether you need to or not.
Yeah, like you're basically, yeah, exactly. Like you're basically gonna know at this point whether somebody's already made a huge mistake or not. So it's like, well, do I have some breathing room, or no, this is close. I don't want to risk losing a potential probably 30-ish seconds. I'm just gonna open these up and take it safe.
Yeah, because there'll always be somebody in your chat giving the info, giving you the details.
Ooh, does bonk a few of the flame shots there, so he's going to be down flame unless he gets a drop from some of these enemies.
Okay, and it looks like that just came on screen. That's going to be our match tomorrow at noon, it looks like. Nero versus Big Zeef.
Yes, it's the next race right now so far in the tournament.
Oh, look at that, Eddie being very kind and giving the big energy refill.
Yeah, so that'll be good now. He's got plenty of flame to finish the stage. And actually didn't even shoot one on those last two guys there, so even saved some there a little bit. Tomahawk stage it's not terribly difficult. You see a lot of these really look at all these screens. There are a lot of really short screens. Mm-hmm. So every single time you hit a screen transition, you can sort of mentally prepare. Okay, this is the strat I'm planning to do, and go execute it. And then it's another screen transition, and okay, here's the strat coming up. It's sort of allows your brain to sort of really focus on every little thing that you're ready to do. There's no real okay, here's the next thing, and oh, okay, I'm already doing this. It's just, and I some people don't like that. Some people would rather have their gameplay flow really perfectly, trick into the next trick into the next trick. But sometimes it's nice to have a stage that sort of slows down a little bit and gives you time to sort of think.
Yeah, there's not so many things on each screen. It's more, like you were saying, the little things every other screen or so you have enough time to really think ahead what you're doing. Really beneficial for people who don't know the game super well, as you can kind of remember that stuff a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Just 3 more to go now.
Yeah, the final 3.
Yamato is a little bit shorter stage, but typically one of the more consistent stages. It's pretty simple. And then the boss fight also is pretty easy as well. So this stage is always kind of nice to get to once you are if you are in a Mega Man 6 run, because just getting through it usually means or getting to it usually means that your run is at least it's gotten out of plant, and it usually is a free stage to get to night. I've had a few runs die here, but very, very few. So I like this stage a lot for that reason.
There you go, passing these dragonflies. Ooh.
Yeah, the dragonflies can be mean. They can drop their bomb on you, as you saw. But
especially being on those small platforms above the pits, if you're getting hit up there, you're more than likely getting knocked back into a pit.
Yeah. But again, we're going to top route with Jet because it's a little bit shorter. There's less screens. I think it's less screens, or actually it might just be that there's less screen transitions. I can't remember now off the top of my head. Might actually be the same amount of screens. Or wait, no, it definitely isn't. There was definitely more here. As you're seeing Darko going the other route here, just trying to show it off to see, so you guys can see what the other half of the stage looks like.
Yeah, I it's hard for me to kind of remember because I haven't gone down that way in a very long time.
Yeah, I think I was getting it confused with Tomahawk. I think Tomahawk's is the same amount of screens. but it's a slower one. And actually a pretty nice fight here by 2wogood.
Yeah.
Very, very clean, so great job.
Yeah, nice kill landed right in the center too, so right where we wanted to be.
Just 2 stages to go. Nightman and Centaur. It is interesting when you do the win first route, because I think especially for newer runners, I think that Knight and Centaur are actually pretty difficult stages to play. Like, once you sort of get a feel for Mega Man 6 in general, it's not so bad, but there are some pretty tough rooms in Knight and Centaur. So for people who don't have as much experience, it can be actually interesting to see like how we've seen some races like get decided in the last stage just because, you know, someone goes for a really risky slide and they just take a death in a place that, you know, you just don't expect somebody to take, and it might just be a game over, you know. Like we've seen some pretty interesting turnarounds sometimes in this category. So
yeah, there are a lot of little like almost sneaky rooms in these last 2 stages where they just got, you know, just enough spikes to make it a little nerve-wracking, you know, just a couple of tight jumps, you know.
Yep. Yeah, and like this room he's entering right now, this checkpoint room, this is actually one of those rooms. Like, if you want to be risky and slide on these platforms like that these other these enemies are on, you can do that, but you just have to be very careful, because if you don't cancel your slide right, that entire room is layered with spikes, and I mean, once you're off the ledge, it's over. So you have to be very sure of your inputs.
Yeah, it's not like the Plant Man stage where that screen is just visibly, you know, difficult looking. These ones kind of, you know, don't really give it off, but they can be.
Yeah. Entering the bouncy castle room here now. Ooh, does take 1 hit from that spiny, but not too bad. He got through most of that room pretty cleanly.
Alright, let's see how many jumps Nightman wants to pull off here.
Ooh, good start. Ooh, very nice.
Wow.
Let's see, one more throw. Ooh, a walk. That's fine. Perfectly fine. What a great pattern.
Not too bad there to jump shoot at the same time. That way, if he did jump, he could have caught him on the way up with the Yamato. So, yeah, pretty nice and cooperative Nightman there.
Yeah. So, last stage. Again, if anybody is curious about the tournament and who's all in it and all that information, you can check out the challenge link. I'm sure somebody in the chat can post it in for us.
Yeah.
But it's there are 40 people in this tournament. Started just on this past Saturday, so there's been quite a few races over the weekend, and now the weekdays are sort of kicking in. It's slowing down a little bit tomorrow, but on Wednesday there's like 6 races scheduled, so
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of 46 Robot Master races coming up in the next 2 weeks, and then even after that we still have the single elimination brackets. So if Mega Man is your thing and you enjoy watching some of these races, then definitely watch for them on both this channel and again, some of our overflow will go over to Speedruns Live channel. So
Yeah, and if you think there's a lot of matches this week, I feel like since next week, you know, some of the people who might have been putting it off, myself included, I haven't played a match yet. Hoping for Thursday, But yeah, people are gonna be trying to get in them last minute matches, so we're gonna have a lot of Mega Man for the next couple weeks, which is great.
2wogood should be home free now. He's got really nothing. There's no more pits at this point. He just deboosts through this squid mini boss sort of, and has to just finish off Centaur. So this should be pretty much time coming up here in a little under a minute here.
Yeah, plenty of health and everything to work with too, so.
Does get a flash here. Ideally, you want to try to kill Centaur so that, like, best case scenario, he doesn't teleport, but it is random if he teleports or not, so, you know, you do the best you can, unfortunately, but every teleport costs you an extra 2 seconds, so you're kind of hoping for the walk patterns. But GG to 2wogood as he finishes just over 2 hours and 10 minutes. Again, some unfortunate things happening there, especially with like the Crystal Warp game over and the Wave Man boat skip and stuff like that. But you know, it's lessons learned, and he definitely knows now for his next races what he either, you know, has to work on or things he knows he's just not going to go for again. So
yeah,
always,
he's got those. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's always good to have, you know, it's a learning experience. So
yeah, you got them first game jitters out of the way. You know, maybe relook at the Bomb Man, Zip. You know, Wave Man. Maybe see what he wants to do, if he wants to keep doing that skip or not.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, not a bad first match. You know, he got most of, you know, maybe the bigger problems that he'll have. Maybe he got those out of the way in this match, and the next two he can, you know, hopefully for him, get those a little more knuckled down. Yeah.
Oh, Darko pointing out that 2wogood actually didn't .done. He accidentally wrote .cone. So technically, RaceBot has not given him a time yet.
Uh-oh.
So
I hope he knows.
Quickly retype that in there, 2wogood. As much as I would love ice cream right now, I could totally go for a .cone. There it is, done. Okay. So RaceBot has a 2 hour, 12 minute and 20-second time, but as obviously you can see on the timer on the stream, it was about 2 minutes faster than that. So
.cone is the
cone.
Best.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any places open for me right now to go get a .cone, but I would definitely love one right now. So, but yeah, GG to both runners again. Congrats to Darko for basically clinching into the brackets here tonight. He will still have one more race, which I'm not sure if he is scheduled yet. But yeah, definitely if you're interested, again, like I said, in these races, they're going to be coming up. We have the schedule, which I believe was in that link. Should have been in that link that Kong posted earlier up, so you can just scroll up and take a look. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for us, I think.
Who's Darko's? Oh, Darko. Oh, he played against Enemy yesterday, so he's got one match left against Nega Zeus, the second-ranked person in his pool.
Mm-hmm.
And now 2wogood's got to also play Nega Zeus and Enemy.
Yeah, this is actually going to end up being a pretty interesting pool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because after watching both the two races that Darko did last night and tonight, I think that both Enemy and 2wogood are going to be very, very close.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good match, I think.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, then there's still the number 2 seed is still sitting there too. So it's going to be some good races, I think, in this pool. I like it.
Yeah, if you look, a lot of the pools you look at, you're going to see, oh, okay, yeah, there's a good spread. You know, everyone's got, you know, someone who's pretty stacked in it, and then the next people in there are all, you know, it can go any way after that. You know.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some wild cards. But yeah, I we're actually gonna get to see.
Oh, okay, yeah, we are gonna pull the bracket here. Nice.
So yeah, we've had one race so far in that Group A. We'll see Nero and Zflick is written. You can see on stream is going to be next tomorrow at noon EST. Then you got Group B where Zoda and Toad finally they had their first race earlier today. Toad was able to just barely squeak by. It sounded like so. Very, very cool because I know Zoda's been putting a lot of work in, so really cool actually to see him get just barely around that 2-hour mark. That's really solid, really good improvement by him in the last week.
Yeah, I was hoping to play Zoda pretty quickly before he could get before he could keep improving.
There you can see in Group C, Primal's got his 2 wins, so he'll be just like Darko clinching into the single elimination bracket. Baron and Avalon had a race last night. Baron had an amazing time, like a 1:45.14, as you can see there. That's a very, very strong time in this category. So look for him to be a very good, strong contender in this tournament. Becco just earlier tonight raced Cassio, and he had his first win. So Cassio now 1-1 with that. He's got one more race. He's got to race Mr. Cab. Mazimov and Infinite Mystery actually had the very first race of the tournament, and Maz took that one. So still got a lot of races yet in that pool to see. Darko, as you can see there, he already had his win from last night. Now he's got 2, so he'll be clinched into the next round. And then we got Group H here. I don't want to call out any names here, but there's those 4 names. Get on it. Schedule some races, guys. Just putting that out there. And and then you have your last 2 groups, Group I and Group J. We've seen one race so far between Darkman and Papatot in Group I. It was a very, very good race. They were trading the lead back and forth constantly throughout it. So again, I think you're going to see some pretty good races once that single elimination bracket starts. And then you see again Group J. Fasta getting his first race win, so that was back again on day 1, I believe. So, yeah,
that's nice. There, 150, 57 to 153, 54.
Yeah, it was.
That's a good race.
It was interesting because actually that was a personal best race time for Darkman too. So,
okay, cool.
Even though it shows like he lost sure by like 2 or 3 minutes, he actually did PB by about 2 minutes in that race. So we're seeing these guys they're constantly, people are getting better. They're getting better as we're starting to go on, especially now that it's started and people are actually starting to race. It's sort of pushing people to actually practice a little more. So it's getting exciting. Like we're only like a few days in, but you're already starting to see, the brackets forming a little bit with now Darko and Primal already moving through. So it doesn't take much, just a couple quick wins and they move through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like we said, we got a whole bunch more Mega Man coming this week and the next week, so we'll see start to fill out more and more as the days go on.
Yeah, definitely. It's always cool, yeah. Like once you start to see, about 3 or 4 or 5 races now going on, you get close to the end of the pool play and actually start to see all those spots fill up. It's going to be exciting because single elimination brackets are always an interesting scenario. It's like it doesn't matter how good you are. If enough things go wrong in one of those races, you could see a top runner get eliminated. So I actually really like this format of tournament a lot better than the double elimination. Just I like the sort of up the ante, so to speak, with this. You get one shot at it once you're into the bracket. So it's gonna be cool. I'm excited. I'm really enjoying this tournament so far. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. This is my, I think, 3rd match I've covered so far, and it's been a lot of fun watching all these guys play Mega Man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know if either of you have any closing thoughts, but for me, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just keep staying tuned. Make sure you come back tomorrow at noon for that Nero versus Big Zeef, and make sure you got this channel and the Speedruns Live channel followed, so that way you can keep up with all the matches we're doing. And make sure you follow 2wogood and Darko. They did a hell of a job playing today.
Yeah, for sure. Both those races are going to be on this channel tomorrow. Okay. So 12 p.m. and then 9 p.m. is Richard versus Pot Dot. So yeah, cool. Well, thanks for joining me, Con.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
For sure. And hopefully we'll see you all next time. Thanks again to Fiesel for hosting.
Oh yeah, shout out to Fiesel.